Yeah, but they pick in social media. You pick what you want. In the ofuna abantu bayibone. So you can't say a person, a person off of Facebook or social media, because you only see what they want you to see.
But I realized at that moment that I was cold, bro. And I had failed in high school because I caught on a lot of shit. But I'm thankful for those failures because they taught me to raise my head up. Tupac says, even though you failed up, you gotta keep your head up. People were in disbelief. This nigga can't fail. He's good in school. But nigga, I was catching on shit, bro. I was Mr. Bitches. I was bunking school. I was smoking weed. I was doing all kind of shit. Yeah, but those were the outcomes of that. And then I started to stop. And then I got to be fine with, oh, he lost his touch. Oh, he no longer is the guy. Because I realized, Guti, I have to finish high school. I have to finish high school. So what people think about what I'm doing doesn't matter. What do I think about myself? What does my creator actually think about me as well? I'm not a Christian, bro. Yeah, well, as you heard, Muginkala, I'm talking about Shiva. You're probably asking, who the fuck is Shiva? Yeah, but Shiva is a Hindu god. He's a god of meditation. So you can go on Google and go Google that shit. Shiva, partner. Those are things that I took from an Indian mystic called Sadhguru. I do his meditation called Ishakriya, where I sit for 15 minutes and I chant, I am not this body, I'm not even this mind. So those are the thoughts. Whenever I want a trip, I remind myself that I'm not this body and I'm not this mind. Because we as human beings, one thing I've realized is that we identify ourselves so much with our thoughts, we identify ourselves so much with our action, and we start to believe that we are those people. Now, I believe that whatever you actually see as your truth, that is what you believe in. You become land. If you believe you're not good enough, that's your truth. That's why I asked someone else the other day. They said, no, Tando, I can't do what you do. Who says you can't? You haven't tried. Who says you can't? And the other fit at work, when I'm trying to motivate people, I think about Mike Tyson. The edge that Mike Tyson had is that he would come first on the ring, but he would see his opponent with his head down. Nigga has already lost the fight and the fight hasn't even begun. This is how we come in life in, bro. We put our head down. I'm like, I'm ferocious. I want to eat your heart. Because he knows, man, Nancy focus, it's me and what I need to do. There are a lot of forces that you don't have control over, bro. Yeah, but you can't be focusing on that. I can focus on my tardiness, being there on time. I can focus on my effort. Yeah, but giving my best. I can focus on my mindset, making sure that I give a mindset that's going to push me, because I call myself a sort of shit.
Most things I say is none of your business.
Exactly, bro.
If not, you can't control that.
Exactly. I need to be fine with the level that I am, knowing that I deserve more. In many instances, even the reality that in the I had to literally visualize Lewendienza before I actually do it. I was doing a lot of Facebook lives on my old account that got hacked and all of that. But I didn't even know that was my training. I didn't even know that shit, so that so I can be confident and sit in front of people. So Labandu Bazotini Bright, it's never done anyone justice. It didn't do me justice. I'm human, those thoughts do creep in. That is why I have to solidify Ngondo. Because Ngondo is a sponge, it absorbs everything. And sometimes you can even be intimidated by something you only have 1% information about. You can sing dripping and having all the so-called materialistic stuff. But you didn't know how they came, and here you are when I'm trying to measure life work according to what you saw, which is 1%. We do not know Lamdo goes to the depths of evil to get all those things, because in this social media world that's it's so easy for you to be fake, bro. So easy for you to put up an image.
You only see a part of that person's life, not the whole part.
Why don't you post your losses?
Most do because you can. Yeah, but that's why they switch the camera off. Only switch it on when something positive is happening. Then when there's a problem, some kind of problem arising, switch it off. Yeah, but they pick in social media. You pick what in the ofuna abantu bayibone. So you can't really say a person, a person off of Facebook or social media because you only see what they want you to see. Yeah.
Like J. Cole guys sitsho yatsho naye ba there's a bridge you can walk to see there's a bridge you can cross to see God talk, but there are real slim odds that rich man crosses. Damn. Aba bantu abazi baba busy ntoni. You see the fleshy stuff. Yebo. But the thing behind those fleshy stuff awuzazi noba zi-inhuman azenzayo.
Damn, dog.
Yebo. That's what it means by loo nto. Because aba bantu abayana, they spend more time trying to get la mali, la power libanayo on how they got that money. And they spend less time praying or doing anything else. Yo, and Lando independent ithethe ba there's a line I want to say something. There's a line which I ayithethayo nayo. Phinde athi ba greed is a poisonous seed indeed, as it spreads like weeds through minds of apple trees. Again, you're planting the seeds of desire. Knowing but it's gonna mess with your future dreams at the end. Ibeka amabom lana. You know la seed, but it's gonna play with your emotional thoughts, emotional well-being, nayo, physically food. But you still plant it. Because it's poisonous, it's a poisonous seed. You plant uyazi la seed, but at some point izaba nazo backfire zayo ngenye imini.
Because one thing is people like most of the time we know the wrong and right, but we always choose what benefits us. Whether it's right, what I'm doing, but if it benefits me, it's cool. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, that's the one and they like it. That's where you get wrong. You don't do things because you do what's right because it's right, not because you're benefiting or what. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Yeah.
I just love your points as there, no matter man. It took me down a trip down memory lane. Someone asked me the other day, bro, how do you do what you do? And I'm saying, it's not me. I'm only a vessel, bro. It's not me. I can't give myself credit and say, okay, with this articulacy and all of that. But I'll also give it kudos to like what I poured into myself. I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader. I love reading. I love listening to podcasts. I love documentaries. I love information. I love being knowledgeable. Yeah, well, because that's potential in order for you to actually become more than you are. Yes, I've heard about knowledge is power, but it's only potential knowledge. Yeah, but the moment then you apply it, then it becomes power. Because what's the use you having all this knowledge, but you can't apply it in your own life? You see, even us in manhood, we are taught, which is you have to choose what's good for you. What someone else says it might not work for you, but then nigga can say 100 things and you only take one thing out of him. That's the thing that I've also learned, is that even the people that have nothing to bring to your table have something to teach you. I learned a lot from people who criticize the shit I'm doing. Yeah, bro. Because I didn't take it personal. Yeah, you get mad because it's like, why is it coming from this person? Yeah, why is it coming from this person? Even when the show started, Anupongo was one of the first people that actually came on the show. When I started transitioning from like writing it down, and actually first 2 seasons of my show is just me writing down diary entries and then I formulate them into episodes. But Tupong was the first person I started to have a conversation, because I was like, Tando, you're interested in people. How about you start having conversations with people? Then Upong at that time, we just became friends because he was introduced to me by Ulubabalo. We ended up clicking. Now I started to become interested in this dude. Who's this dude? He's an artist and so on. He started talking about his journey. He he went from Oaklands, how all his teachers, some of his teachers told him he mustn't waste his time with this art. Omnye told him, no, it's not going to come through. Abanye, they were saying something different. And the reason why I'm saying this is based on one of my motivational speakers in the time, Oles Brown. He says, never let someone's opinion of you become your reality. Because someone tells us, no, you're not, that's impossible. I had many people I grew up with that was my friends at the time, so-called friends, but they're no longer in my life, that told me, dude, who's going to listen to your podcast? 2 years after I started putting a podcast out there, people weren't listening. But I was like, shit, where am I? Am I really literally doing this for people? No, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for myself because I have a story to tell. It's my responsibility to make the world know, but there's a dude that went through all of this. And there's nothing more powerful in me telling my own story because you can't use it against me. Nigga, I already told the world about my pops. Nigga, I already told the world about my moms and what she went through. I told you about the girlfriend that left me. Yeah, but I told you about all of these things, bro, because I wanted to empower myself. If you think you're going to use it against me, oh, tough luck.
One thing we're mistaking is that it's just because it's boni likes pagalanbuza paga Facebook okanye TikTok. Well, boni like. But if you actually check the views, people are viewing. But most of the haters is full like. Yeah. Most of the people are viewing. Yeah, but it's still making you something. Yes, views.
It's planting a seed. That's spread.
Planting something that's spread.
That's one. Yeah, but don't matter.
Yeah, one 5 likes. Namdi can one region gombe. Yeah, there's 5 likes. Yeah, but then chungi views. There's like 5K views, 7K views. So why aren't you liking? If you have the time to watch, why aren't you liking? Tabe no longer tena undazi bro. No longer itandi ngaga. About to like and no like.
Then to respond, I want to respond to like client we tell only to have the time. Most people like I find it funny or I'm not funny, like weird, like or I don't know why like about like me like we set up about heartbreaks like kanye indo ebuhlungu because I'm like that thing. If you speak about it, you more on the healing side than going back.
That's true.
Because the thing is, that thing can't hurt you the same way it did the first time it happened. You can't tell me it hurt you the same way. You can't. The more you speak, the more you come in terms when others say, okay, this really happened. Then that's how you go through it. Keeping it and not saying, and I don't want people to know this shit. You're going to know it alone. You're going to stress alone. End up having thoughts or your own thoughts now. At least when you speak to people, I might come with the same story. You relate to the same thing as me. That's where you find your comfort. But I think, okay, there's a people who like, grand, who went through the same shit as I am and still standing. And I was like, I'm not alone. So if he can do it, I can do it. Yeah. So like, I'm like, people who like don't talk about their things. Like, you're more on the downside than healing. Speaking is healing.
Of course, Machi. And one of my key drivers is just trying to create the next generation of men, bro. Men that are going to be accountable for how they feel. My former schoolmate, Nwabisa, we were in the same class, I think for 2-3 years, Nwabisa. And she said, Tando, I love what you're doing because you are going to be the reason why other men, especially those who have grown tired being in that cocoon, because now we want to be like prisoners of our own minds. We want to be prisoners of what happened to us. We want to be victims. Oh, look at me, I'm wounded. This happened to me, and this is why I'm this way. And we see Alibale at that moment that we're programming ourselves as well. Because you're making a beautiful point about that. Once you talk about it, you heal. We need to talk more and more about these things. And bro, I've gone on rants and people like, nigga, you just angry. I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm actually passionate about this. We are very hypocritical people, seen as melanated people. That's one thing I've seen. And there's the example like from there's this documentary I was watching. This black dude is trying to give this Chinese guy a discount on his product. And this nigga kept on going up and up. I'm gonna give you 10% discount. No. the Chinese guy. 20% no. 30% no, still. Wafika ku-50, and the dude was like, even if you say 100%, I'm never going to buy from you, because you black people buy from everyone and you don't buy from yourself. It just shows the amount of value you have. We Chinese people, we buy from the Chinese. Koreans buy from the Koreans. Look at how we watch our own brothers. If you have to come into an economy that is thriving, no civil wars, no nothing. Yes, you can make excuses good to South Africa is a corrupt nation and Zinjalo, but our Somalian and Ethiopian brothers came and got the spaza shop economy by the neck, because they realized they're their own slave. They don't need to ball out and wear all these brands and do all of that. They buy from one another. You come, you want to try your own business, they will fund you, they will give you stock, they do all those kind of things. And it shows there are other black people that can be able to do that. I know sometimes the term black is a bit of derogatory, but I always say melanated people. Instead of us actually like learning ukucinga kwabo, we rather want to back them down, which is we're falling victims into the Western way of thinking that the white color is actually superior more than the melanated, because you were programmed that way. You were taught that. Someone taught you that umlungu is more superior than yourself. And yet there are things that in the background that umlungu is trying so hard to be you. That's the shit I actually started to realize, that everyone wants to be black except black people, bro. Everyone wants to be black except us. We want to be white, bro. And no matter what we do, we can buy white, we can marry white, we can have white money, but still, you're just a nigger, and that won't change, bro. Which is why black consciousness is so important to me. Black is beautiful. That's why the Black Panthers were important. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Let's all learn from our previous leaders that were trying to make us be proud of who we are. It's not a curse that you're black, bro. It's not a curse. You were born into a system that already what do? You go and play into the very same system, bro, that was built to destroy. And that is not what I want for my people. So, in with me, Nam Dakale podcast, I was like, bro, there's so much negativity. I'm choosing this corner, man, to spread as much positivity as I can. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, when you go on TikTok, people are doing TikTok dances, challenges, and so on. Yeah, watch that shit, but that's not my focus. My focus is having that conversation that you've been meaning to have with yourself, but perhaps maybe it's going to be through my voice. And in you, when you're witnessing me take accountability and power in my own story, maybe that will give you that kind of initiative. You don't need to hop on my show or you hop on my shit in order for you to actually be like, okay, I've been lacking. I need to focus on some other shit. No, maybe you need to do that in private
and yes,
win.
And just speaking of accountability, because yes, Tina, as black people, we are fixated with the mind of kukaba mama. Yeah, ba mama busy sitimo. Yeah. Sifuna ukwenza nto excuse ethu ngaba mama. Yabo. Because olongalela ba mama hayi ba mama kankwazi uvuka yana ba ndikandivanga nealarm yana ba lo mama busy ngini. There's no way untalela uzamkalela lo way every day la mama busy nguwe. Okay, if busy nguwe la mama, fine. But uyaleka eliyaza lakhe lisebenze mos when you don't wake up the morning. Ba wabe khangela lento ufika ikhangela.
And akona evidence.
Akona evidence bana ba mama bekusebenza ufumananga niksi kuwe ki. Xa ngaba mama. Ba mama hayo aba mama bayise hayi theka ndivaya ndanyathela kakona manje ndwanyatheleyo manje ndumbile ngo. Yabo into bangula mama ubani ungifakele izinto zakhe man. Yabo there's no way. There's no way Kadina where Tina is black people have an excuse in all excuses for everything both. We have excuse for his spine. We have excuse for our own feelings.
Yes.
We don't want to deal with them.
Yes, man. Yes, brother. Yes.
We have excuses for our friends who are bringing us down. We know them. We have excuse for families.
Wow.
Nah, you are abusing us. This is pull it down way. You're trying to get something. Yeah, but aesthetic is uzinda. Yeah, but in the source is aesthetic. Kube in the service siyenze kukhupha stress kwabanye abantu.
Exactly. Now someone else must be a victim of izinto that you don't want to deal with as well. We grew up in very toxic families. That's the first thing in the Bonilea. In you trying to like make your life better, already you are a threat to someone else, because in their mind they're already thinking, if he makes it, then he's gonna leave me. And I tell a lot of people in my family, you need to fucking heal from your entitlement. I don't owe you shit. I don't owe you shit, bro. And Charlie too. The reason why to Palela Lendo is so that when I will be accountable to yourself, like your choices are kuzenzile, bro. We live in the same environment when Loazi, bro. And it's not nice if you're having to face abantu that are always trying to bring you down. But I always say pressure is a privilege. It's a privilege, bro. Like, I'm glad that you think. I mean, fair to. It's through pressure that we actually learn our own resilience and strength. Akumnandi, bro. Awucinge tu uzibone capabilities zakho, because you wouldn't even know about you were capable of overcoming that way. When I had a kid, bro, and I wasn't working at that time, I was scared in my fucking pants. How am I gonna feed this kid, but I can't even feed myself? But then I didn't have to stay in that frequency. I had to be like, accept, bro, you have to make the alternative the means. Yeah, but that is when I went in like in content, yeah, and then a couple of years later I got this job, bro. Nguwe on a responsibility to actually face it. And I was talking about pressure being a privilege. That without that pressure I wouldn't have seen capabilities, because the person I was trying to prove myself to was myself. Not anybody else. Yeah, well, it was myself. So when I tell them about healing from the entitlement, is because I don't owe them shit. Nah, but when they're on their shit, I don't owe them shit. It's because now what I'm expecting needs, you know, I'm expecting needs, and you know that end driver behind that quote, that pressure is a privilege. Say heavy is the crown. That's a crown for you too. There's probably a lot of things that are not going right in life in Yako, but you just born. But up until you actually take that responsibility and do something about it, then isn't as you change. You can't change people, bro. You literally can't change people, bro.
And yani, as both switch the team, and the heaviest weight you can carry is
so busy.
The heaviest weight you can carry as a man is knowing the man that you can be, and not doing anything about it to become who you really be. Shit. And yes, if flop happens, we don't want to try harder. Pressure si phone.
Be smooth.
You only know from him.
How is that?
We don't want the pressure. Whereas the pressure is for many says into life. Because staying in our own bubble, you're getting comfort. And to feed a man comfort, so forget somebody's goals.
That's what we do. Forget about transparency. We always look for comfort. But
the minute
you don't get them balance, you need to get through the pressure first.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
The minute you stay in that bubble, also we popular bubbles. You don't want to experiment. Like being on a podcast, it's my first time being here. Yeah, bro. Hence I'm flipping nervous.
Damn. Yeah. But you need to but I need to. So the reason I reframe that shit and be like, I'm excited to be on this podcast, bro. Because somebody else is gonna take your instructions, remember.
It's nothing much.
Exactly. It's just you being you, bro. And then they understand at that point, besides the lingam, so actually like disturbing like your train of thoughts, is you wanted to articulate something fair to, especially when it comes to family. And I know over time you're gonna get confidence and into words. Because I still feel like maybe you're still at an early stage in trying to like figure out how do I put it out there, bro. Yeah, bro. Because especially with families, and we might seem like we're okay, but we're not okay. And I always say it's okay for you not to be okay. It's alright for you to break down, bro. It's alright. It's alright. Sometimes you've been carrying too much load and you don't realize that by exhale a load, It's something that you need to let go of. I cry most of the time. I really cry because I can't keep that in. Because you said something earlier about now you don't hold yourself accountable for your feelings, or now you bust on other people. You become a mirror. I actually deactivated someone in person a couple of years ago. I was still smoking weed at that time. And he saw I was holding the blunt and he said, "Oh, it's this nigga that's full of shit." And I said, "Thank you, bro." Like, why are you thanking me? I'm like, thank you because I'm only a mirror. I'm only mirroring you. It so happened that I was holding the mirror and you said that to me. I can't take it personal because I know it's not the truth. I know I'm not full of shit. But look at whose mouth it's coming out of. You see, it's coming out of your mouth. Like if you listen to people, they will tell you who they are, bro. That person was telling me who they are and how they felt about me, but I can't take it personal because I understood when Allah said that my light is going to shine on other people's darkness. There are some people who hate you just for existing, bro. Yeah. By just existing, by you not being bothered by certain shit, by you not being in certain places, like you are Leana. Paramiside la tsotsi. I hambi apa, I zimatoti, and all the for just being different, bro. Just being different because I understand I don't have a lot of time. Like time is your biggest commodity, bro. And if you can spend it so carefully like you spend your money, bro, trust me, all the things that your heart desires, you will get and plenty more. The good I do for people is not just for myself, bro. It's for others as well.
That's why time. I've just realized now that time is the most from my life. I've heard people abandon alone, but I've never actually believed it. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I get true. But I didn't actually take it in to understand what it means. But time, like, that's the one thing I've realized, like, time is more valuable than everything. Because one moment you will be here, yeah, talking about one moment you're not here. Yeah, well, that's how valuable time is. Was in Bona last year. That's in Bona last week. The next moment, nah, you're gone. Yeah, well, you can. That billion is still there, mind you. That billion is there. That you value and billions are very cold. That is still there, but with time, you ran out of time. That's the sad part. That's how I've just realized that now time is is far more valuable than probably everything on this earth for me.
Sadhguru talks about we are dying in installments. What he means by dying in installments is that every day you live, you're a day closer to your grave. If that thing can click in your mind that you are mere mortal, that one day you're gonna die, I think you will start to live every day as if it's your last, bro. Because you never know when it's your last. We wake up with so much guarantees thinking, nah, I'll wake up in the morning. Nigga, it's not guaranteed.
But that's all. I think that's why we social things. Because if we were not social things, thinking all that shit without socializing, or it, then probably most people would have like suicide rate high. Cause all you thinking is very high. Yeah,
And
so all you think, yeah, what's the use?
exactly. So I might as well like cut it off.
I think that is why we are social things to like to interact with people, not to always think like think about the same shit. So I think that's the main piece is why humans are social beings then. Like,
and now, yes, how I interpret it this as you are an energy force. People need to meet you where you are. You can't go down for people. And when I started to like, what am I becoming because of these people? When that question started to hit my mind, because remember, when you transition from being a consumer into a producer, you need to have a creator's mind. Creator's mind is there are certain things in order for you to have an outcome. There's input, process, and then there's output. So when I started to challenge myself, it was also an everyday thing. I understand what I wasn't going to master myself. I was okay with being a beginner. I'm still a beginner. Even now, I'm still in crawling phase. And there are people already like, they're trying to hate on me, bro. And I'm not even done. Like, I just started, bro.
This is a story.
When you're already...
If it has started me being there, it's not exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a story. This is my story. By the time I get there, you enjoy it more because you know where I come from.
Exactly.
Rather than just starting there and it's like there's no story behind that, you won't enjoy it. It's just like, okay, yeah, you got what you wanted. But when you start from the bottom, it's like you enjoy it more because you know where you come from. Like, you enjoy it more because you know, like, even I'm not talking like from your point of view only, but also from the consumer's point of view. Because from a consumer that started with you, like maybe when you started seeing your progress, it's like, damn, there's a beautiful thing to see, like a black person starting from nothing to actually what you currently have at that time of moment. It's beautiful, but
yeah, and in the ending, he's not taking shortcuts. Because we don't shortcuts. Earlier on, yeah, but if he didn't take any shortcuts and he ends into a process, yeah, you learn certain skills that you wouldn't have learned without a shortcut.
Damn.
Because if into was a repeater, he ends, you can't keep it. And if you can't keep it, you can't maintain it, you can't hold it.
Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. Yeah, but if into was repeated, but nothing for going to go to the shortcut, was nothing copying the ends, and also been was the end.
so you know now we like says and then go that wins don't low there oh just like my so is say my so is that too much to pay like man like what terrible like is it that there's a true like love to I know